That's better. Oh, wait. This is serious business. That's more like it. As I grow older, I feel more and more childish. Navigating my early 20s has been nothing short but a death sentence. To an extent, only because I feel like the older I grow, I feel more childish, and I just feel so much more rebellion against the structure of adulthood. So I wanted to discuss that with you guys today because it's actually been on my brain. Like, I've actually been really obsessed with the concept of aging, and I feel like I've been presented, as always, many opportunities to further explore this, whether this be in my workspaces, at school. 99% of the time, I'm just not surrounded by people my age unless I choose to be when I go hang out with my friends. But other than that, I'm surrounded by a lot of older people, and a specific category of people that I have been around the most is a lot of older women. Now, we kind of have to touch on gender just a little bit, and then I'll go into my notes because I came prepared. You like my book? So, gender. I don't know. Sometimes I feel, I don't know if when I call myself a woman, if it's compulsory and if it's just something that I learned. So I'm like, what else am I going to call myself? Because I could just say human, I could say person, and it gives, you know, the same thing, but it doesn't have that same, you know what I'm saying? Like, woman sounds like, it's like so powerful and like so undeniable. As perceived black woman, okay? Yeah, I just... why are we talking about gender, Kayla? Let me trace my thoughts. I've been around a lot of women. Oh, my God. Wait, do I have this in my notes? Before I get ahead of myself, you guys, because you know... No. Okay. We're talking about gender because even though I don't necessarily always completely feel tied to the gender role of a woman, I still have a pussy. So this comes into play because when I have these discussions with these older women, older black women, older women of color, we often talk about like menopause. And did you guys fucking know that menopause was the shutting down of your reproduction organs? Okay, like that. First of all, I didn't like that definition. I think my grandma gave me that. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? What you mean they're shutting down? But that's literally what it is, and it can consist over the length of 10 years, babe. 10 plus years. You know what I'm saying? It really is until your period stops. That's crazy. So this coincides with me being obsessed with aging because I'm like, yeah, aging. Like right now in my head, I'm just thinking like adulthood. Just got in here, scoping the scenery out, feeling like I don't really fit, but it's okay. I don't give a fuck because I'm going to make space for myself. That's just what it is. But then I begin to think even more about aging and how my body comes into play with aging, and the fact that I have a pussy comes into play with aging, and how that all brings up so many other problems that I didn't even like begin to consider and grasp. It's making my head hurt, you know, because my period alone, you know what I'm saying, does enough damage to myself and my self-esteem, my self-image within the week prior to it actually coming to a head, to me actually bleeding. So I can only imagine, you know, going through menopause. All these thoughts running through my brain. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm not built for this. I don't think that was my mission in life, to have kids, to go through menopause, to subscribe to being an adult. But let's get back to the topic at hand, right? As I grow older, I feel more childish. I felt it was only right for us to start with a definition of the word childish. I like to break words down. I love me a suffix. A suffix will change a word completely. We break down the word. We have child, then we have ish. Right? So, to define child, a young human below the legal age of majority or puberty. Ish, my favorite suffix. Approximation. Somewhat, kind of, vague, indirect. So we have a somewhat, kind of, vague, indirect, young human below the legal age of majority. And that is what the word childish means. Now, I like the word childish because obviously I am not a child. Right? We can all agree. Okay? Obviously I'm not a child by definition. By definition, I am someone's child, but I'm not a child. I'm an adult. See? So obviously I'm not a child, but I feel like one. I feel so silly goofy literally all the time. So I feel like childish for me growing up always had a negative connotation, especially when used by adults, because it's like, I feel like childish was used to make someone feel inferior, like, bitch, you childish. But I'm trying to take a spin on it. It's more empowering for me right now at the ripe age of 23. Because why the fuck would I want to act like you bitches? You know what I'm saying? You guys are whack as fuck. So I don't find I don't find being called childish an insult anymore. Amen. I should be in frequent contact, in touch, have a relationship with my inner child. There's no reason why I shouldn't. Even at the age of 70, babe. Are you kidding me? And I feel like the older, my ideology is, the older you get, the more acceptable it is to be in contact with your inner child. Like, I feel like you get 60, 70, 80 and up, people don't really give a fuck anymore. Because technically, as you get older, from my understanding, you kind of decline, right? So they say, mentally, physically, you can't really do for yourself. So automatically, you are assumed to be, or you are put in the category of a child because someone else has to take care of you, or you just do silly goofy things. But what if we just do silly goofy things for the rest of our life and it no longer have to be, you know, this divide? Because at the end of the day, we are all children. We just, only thing that really changes is our bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like, bodies, responsibilities, but inside you know who you are. See, decided to go through a list of things that make me feel like a child. Number 1, yoga, or any movement with the body. Anytime I move my body, I feel like a child. I recently taught myself how to do fucking cartwheels, bitch. And one day I was in class, and this is my class that's online, and it's like right after one of my in-person classes, so I normally just sit in the building, you know what I'm saying, in the empty classroom and do that class in an empty classroom. Amen. So one day this nigga's just talking like he always is. It definitely gives lecture. We have discussion sometimes, but it's mostly lecture. I was like, oh my god, there's so much space in here. Let me try doing cartwheels. So I did. And my first ones weren't the best, and I kept doing it and kept doing it, and I really did improve. And I think I'll probably insert videos. We're gonna get a perfect cartwheel today. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I feel like when I'm landing, my feet aren't as straight as I want them to be. Movement with, why am I talking about cartwheels? Oh, because I feel like it's so childish. Yoga, or any movement with the body, as it removes shame. Okay, like yoga will have you in the most silliest positions, like shame, guilt, well, not guilt, but shame is no longer the thing. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really want to get into it, get into your body specifically, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, you gotta move. You gotta be in positions you've never been in before. Okay? So remove shame. I feel like it removes seriousness, because I feel like you can't go into yoga like with the intention to like master it. Like, at least I don't. I do yoga because it feels good, it's fun, and I be needing to stretch my body. Like, I made a video earlier this year about how, like, I feel like if I don't stretch every day, like, I can't afford to not stretch every day, because it, like, my body, like, I'm telling you, and I move around a lot. I do a lot of walking literally every day, and then my walking, just double it because of the speed that I walk at. It's not a comfortable walking speed for other people. For me, it is. But I really do feel like it takes a toll on my body. So, and then it removes perfectionism as well, because, wow, I think it just depends. I have not been fully immersed in the yoga community, meaning like I've attended events and stuff. Like, I've tried, but sometimes I just feel like it's not my thing. I feel like maybe if I curate something, that'll feel more comfortable for me. And sometimes, and like, I don't mind joining, you know, other people's communities. But, yeah, I say this to say that I understand in some pockets of the yoga community, there are like perfectionists, and it's very much like, this is a sport, this is the right way to do it, this is the wrong way to do it. I believe in challenging oneself and being able to build the stamina and endurance and confidence when you're doing certain moves. And I believe in improvement always. Like, I don't want to just be doing something to do it, but I do. Sometimes you just do things to do it. But yeah, I feel like over time that will come, you know? I understand intention is everything, and if you go into it like, I want to master this move, you'll master the move, right? But I also feel like that's not how I go into yoga. Like, I'm not thinking, I don't look up a pose and like, I want to perfect this. Only pose I'm really stuck on is that headstand, babe. That headstand. I've gotten one leg up straight and that's it. Let's move on. Working with kids make me feel less childish, because I feel like kids are immersed in their reality, which is quite limited but also very expansive. It's quite limited because kids don't really know, obviously, because they're kids. They're very new to this world. They know what they know, but they don't know everything. So it is very limited, the reality that they do exist in, but it's also quite expansive. There's so much more room for improvement, but like under their terms of improvement. And so yeah, so I feel like they very much give like living in the present moment. They're very curious, so expansive in that way as well. Working with kids is impressive, inspiring, intellect. That's what I wrote. I'm often impressed by these kids. Like, I'm like, how the fuck, bro? So at the school that I internship at, they have like after school clubs, and I have to be there to a certain time, you know, to make all my hours. So in the afternoon when they're having their after school clubs, I'll go join some. And one of the ones that I visited so far was a Rubik's Cube club. And these motherfuckers, let me tell you, a Rubik's Cube, they solve it in literally under a minute. It's literally insane. And they're sitting here trying to teach me, and I'm like, babe, I don't think I'm gonna get it. Then I was playing with one of these girls. I love her down. She is so cutesy and she is so cool to me. Like, all these kids are very cool to me, but she's so cool. And we were playing games on her phone, like the 2-player games that don't need Wi-Fi. Emphasis on the ones that don't need Wi-Fi. A lot of kids have told me about this app, about games that don't need Wi-Fi. A lot of them. They love it. Eating it up. And so, yeah, we were playing chess. I don't know how to play chess. But I played chess with my younger sister before I played chess with this girl, maybe a week prior. Why does my younger sister know all the moves? She knows all the moves and the pieces. Obviously because she was taught. She told me that her dad taught her. Okay, T, how do you remember this? Is my question. I don't understand. Like, how, like, I know the plasticity in their brain, but it's like so fucking impressive. Like, oh my god, like, let me be a kid again. If that's what it's gonna take. Because I can't remember shit. And so yes, it's impressive, it's inspiring, because I'm like, damn, now I want to challenge myself in these ways. I want to learn how to play chess. Oh yeah, I didn't finish my thought. My sister knew how to play chess, and the girl from school knew how to play chess, and it was very intimidating, because I'm like, I don't know how to fucking play chess, and I would not remember. They will literally explain the pieces to me. I'm not kidding. And sometimes I'm like, are you actually listening? Is that the problem? But that's why I also feel like, you know, something else is going on in my brain, because something's not working. They were literally, bro, explain the piece to me. Every time before I move a piece, I'm asking them where I can move it. Every single time. And they have so much patience. And yes, intellect. T, because how these bitches be knowing? You know what I'm saying? Okay, T. I can be a student with kids. It's very rare that I feel like I'm in a teacher role. Like, I always feel like I am the student and they're teaching me something. Kind of like the example with the chess. Like, you're teaching me how to play chess. They're teaching me how to just... They expose me to new, new senses of humor that I've never come across a day in my life. Yeah, so with kids, I'm kind of just like shutting up and just watching and just listening and giving them a place to, you know, be themselves, which is cool. And I feel like sometimes I often forget that I am the adult. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'll be chilling with the kids, and then my supervisor's like, you can't do that. And I'm like, why? She's like, you know, because you can't do that. And we tell them that we can't do that. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. You know, we don't really have a why. But yeah, sometimes I just be forgetting. Like, even with my younger siblings, like, sometimes I don't really know the line. Because me personally, I just feel like, you know, I just don't think it's that serious. You know, I don't think, if nobody's getting hurt and there's no potential for anybody to get hurt, why can't they do this thing? You know, so I often, you know, attribute that to my childishness. I also wonder if, because I don't have kids, is that why I don't take it as seriously? Like, maybe I'm not able to gauge the seriousness of certain situations, but I also just feel like it's just people with kids who are, you know, overly cautious. Because I personally don't think it's a problem, you know? But whatever. Even though I often forget I am the adult, even though I often am playing the student to the teacher role, I still feel like I have the utmost comfort and respect when I'm with kids. When I'm with adults, it's very rare that I feel that way. So yeah, that's tea. So these things make me feel extra childish because I'm like, damn, this is where I belong. I also wrote lack of shame under working with kids and honesty because they're so funny. Like, I wrote down, when I was chilling with the girl who plays chess and her friends at lunch, one of them is going to ask me, are you married? Do you at least have a boyfriend? And I said no to both. This bitch is going to say, I'm single too. Kids are literally so funny. Like, they're so funny. Oh my god. Like, but if you have that conversation with an adult, I feel like there would be shame. Personally, me, not so much, because I really don't give a fuck about marriage. Yeah, but but I could see how, like, I could see how the conversation going differently if I was having it with an adult. Now, I don't want to come off like I have very fixed understandings or fixed perspectives of an adult versus a child, because I know there are a range of adults, and like I said, there are adults, you know what I'm saying, who I do feel at home with. And typically those are the adults that you know, don't take shit too seriously. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're also on a silly, goofy vibe. But I don't want it to come off like, you know, like I'm writing off these people. Like, I'm not in the category. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, I know I'm not a child, but I definitely am not an adult. Like, I don't know what to call it, babe. Yes, what else makes me feel childish? My sense of humor often makes me feel childish. I laugh at the silliest things. I laugh at everything. So yeah, I like shows like The Office, is my favorite show of all time. And recently I've gotten into regular show. It's so tea. What else makes me feel childish? Animals, because they're so full of life. Unknowing, but also very wise and very safe. I love Nova. She is everything to me. And she is so clingy. Astrology. You know, I had to have a tidbit about astrology. I love astrology. Gonna die by it. Nobody's going to convince me that it's not real. I don't care if you don't believe in it. That's between you and the Lord or whoever. You know what I'm saying? Astrology. Cancer placement. Sun and moon. Let's talk about it. Cancers are very childish. I think that comes part with being so in tune with your emotions, because I think oftentimes, I guess a lack of emotional regulation will be associated with a child, but I feel like lack of emotional regulation I feel like sometimes that is interpreted as like letting shit out and expressing your feelings. Some adults may assume that that is a lack of emotional regulation, when it's not. Keeping shit bottled up and repressed is not emotional regulation. That is quite honestly the opposite. So I feel like because cancers are allowed, or because we live, breathe, interpret the world through our feelings and through expressing, or like not feelings, emotions, and through expressing them, it makes us very childish, but it also makes, like I said, like it's easier for me to connect with children and make them feel seen and make them feel heard, because babe, I don't give a fuck how old you think I am. I'm close to your age in spirit and in the mind sometimes. I also have Gemini, Sag, and Aquarius in my chart in different placements. Sag, I just recently learned, is in my first house, my Sag Mars. Big ass child. You know what I'm saying? Big ass child. Gemini, big ass child. And then we have Aquarius. Aquarians are so weird. They're so weird. But they are childish. If you get to see that part of them, you know what I'm saying? You build a friendship with an Aquarian, they're very childish. So, yes. Astrology comes into play. What else? Yeah, I met a teacher at my internship. Wrote down a quote. This bitch said, I'm 41, but I still feel 17. I said T. Literally tea. I'm not playing. I'm literally going around and interviewing people, conducting my own personal research about growing up in adulthood. And what I'm figuring out is that, you know, there is no finite. Like, adulthood is kind of just what you make it, basically. Hold on. I'm gonna have to pause this and delete some shit, because what the fuck? I just bought myself 2 minutes. Okay, cool. Where was I? Yeah, adulthood is kind of just what you make it. I think I went into it with a lot of preconceived understandings of adulthood, which again, I feel like don't get me wrong, like, I'm not going to not point the finger at society and the media and a lot of what I consumed growing up that shaped, you know, my beliefs now. But a lot of this imposed pressure, I feel like I put on myself, because nobody's standing over me and telling me I gotta do this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all free will at the end of the day. But I feel like sometimes it's very easy for myself to feel a little different than my counterparts, especially in grad school, because I feel like they take that shit very, very seriously. And I'm like, babe, this is honestly just a pit stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very, you know what I'm saying, low stakes for me, at least. Like, it's a degree. I've been to school before. I've been to college. I feel like if you survive college, you could do grad school. Like, it's really not that serious. All you gotta do is pass. That's how I see it. Now, you know, there's other opportunities within it. Granted, yes. So many opportunities to learn. And I feel like I'm opening myself to those opportunities, so I'm not, like, suffering. Babe! Where'd it go? Yeah, anyways, I was saying, you know, even though I feel like those things are a pit stop, I still try not to let it take me away from the experience itself. Like, while I'm able to detach myself in that way and be like, I really don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because I really do believe that it is low stakes, because I feel like free will. Yes, I'm pursuing this degree right now, but who knows what the fuck I'll be doing in another year, 2, 3 years, 5 years. You never know. And I have a lot of plans for myself. So I let that, you know, I hold on to that. But let's conclude and close out this motherfucking video. My conclusion is adulthood is silly, because why can't I use humor in a paper if it's obviously one of my strongest suits? Have you ever wrote a paper and you got it sent back to you by a professor and they told you to take excuse me, they told you to take a joke out of the paper? That's whack as fuck. If I was sitting there on the IRB and I'm sitting there and I'm reading paper after paper after paper, I feel like it would really make my day to see somebody try to, you know what I'm saying, crack a joke. Are you kidding me? But that's why adulthood is silly. Adulthood is also silly because why must I always consider or be aware of my reputation, because it could cost me future opportunities? Bitch, what? That's insane. Yes, some future opportunities, but not all future opportunities. The world is not going to end. You know what I'm saying? If I have to curse this bitch out because she's being a whack-ass bitch on a job. Like, what are you talking about? That's so insane to me. Yeah, and this constant, like, to have to always be in this state of self-awareness is enough. Now you want me to be aware of how I'm coming off to multiple people I don't even know, people I may never cross paths with again in my life, and if I do, what's tea? We're all human, babe. What? Anyways, adulthood is also silly because why must I outgrow... Yo, I did not read this over before I started recording this. I wrote this like a week or 2 ago. Why must I outgrow... Okay, wait. Adulthood is silly because why must I outgrow fitted t-shirts, baggy jeans, and sneakers? Why? That's literally my attire. I want to wear that shit every day. I never want to grow out of it. I never, ever. Even though I look amazing in a blazer. My notes say, show off Depop blazer. See, I bought this on Depop. This is the blazer in question. Amen, because we're for real and we're about business. I really like this blazer, though. See, talk about it. I would still wear a fitted t-shirt, this blazer, and jeans. Definitely will. Definitely did the other day for my debate. Alrighty. And when I ask adults, it's always because that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. They always say that, bro. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it's always been. Oh my God. You don't ask questions? You don't want to know why? Adults kill me because how you don't ask why. Or how you ask why, they tell you that's just the way it is and you say yeah. See, that's just the way it is. Bitch, no. Then I'm asking the wrong person. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get answers. Like, that's literally... Yo. I'm getting worked up. Let me calm down. Because that's just the way it is. I refuse. I refuse to subscribe. I believe I will curate my own space and guidelines that work for me within adulthood. I have faith, hope, and drive to challenge the taboos of growing up. And that's all I have to say on that. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.